But allow me to say this. Our tribes or communities belong to a category that I call historical coincidences. And what do you do to historical coincidences? You embrace them, because there is nothing that you can do about them. You don't run away from them. Other examples of historical coincidences are things like our skin color. Hi everyone. When I was in high school at Kitale Boys St. Anthony's between 2001 to 2004, I didn't know any of my teachers' first names, except of course for our principal, Mr. Cosmos Nabangala, who we used to call Nabangala, or simply Bush, a short for that mouthful name. It was the same thing in my primary school days, where the only teacher, I repeat, the only teacher that used to be known by her first name was Madam Pamela. But I looked into my class 5 report cards and noticed how she used to sign her name, P being Pamela. Fast forward to 2024 and walk into any public school staff room, and about half of the teachers are using their first names. And this half of course comprises mostly of the young teachers. In the private schools, literally all the teachers use their first names. Teacher Jane, Teacher Bernice, Teacher Margaret, Teacher Boniface, Teacher Mark, Teacher Dennis. And some even go as far as calling themselves Teacher Deno, Teacher Mato. Allow me to say this. I'm a true believer of change. I really don't like sticking to things of the past. Outdated, old-fashioned, medieval, and Stone Age things and ways of thinking. They irritate me to the bones. But at the same time, the only change that I like is that which makes things better, is progressive, makes a positive impact, brings about advancement, and makes people move from one level to another. Now, is the change of the naming culture in our schools in this category of a progressive change? My answer is no. In fact, according to me, I would term it retrogressive. I see nothing positive or advanced about it. But the question that will linger in people's minds is the old age question. What is in a name? What is the big deal if John Kamau calls himself Teacher John instead of Teacher Kamau? Does it make a difference? Let's assume for the sake of this video that there is no difference. My argument, however, would be that part of the reason why people, including teachers, would like to identify themselves by their English or religious names is because it looks fashionable, modern, trending, and also it seems as if it is a way of running away from the dreaded monster called tribalism. Because if I say I am Teacher Kamau, someone automatically knows that that is a Kaikuyu. And you can clearly see that in the current so-called Gen Z protests, where the young people of this country have clearly said that they are partyless, fearless, leaderless, and tribeless. Underline the word tribeless. But allow me to say this. Our tribes or communities belong to a category that I call historical coincidences. And what do you do to historical coincidences? You embrace them, because there is nothing that you can do about them. You don't run away from them. Other examples of historical coincidences are things like our skin color. I'm a black man. We have the whites, the brown people, the yellow people. What can we do about our skin color? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The only thing that we can do is to embrace it, because we can't change it unless of course we want to be like Michael Jackson. Another example of historical coincidence is the country that one is born into. I'm a Kenyan. What can I do about it? Again, absolutely nothing, except to embrace it. I can't become a Rwandese, or is it a Rwandan, or a Nigerian, or an American for that matter. Religion is again another historical coincidence. About 99% of people, or Africans to be more specific, don't change their religions. Instead, they just embrace them and actually see them as the right, the best, and the only true religion, forgetting the fact that it is just a historical coincidence. I can go on and on, but kindly allow me to stop there and urge Kenyan teachers, among other people in the country and beyond, to reevaluate, go back to their roots, embrace and identify themselves by their African names within our schools and other workplaces. In conclusion, I'm not saying that we should stop using our English or religious names or drop them altogether like I did to mine. All I'm saying is that we should not try to run away from our African identity by using the English or the religious name to mask our true identity. These are just historical coincidences that should be embraced, and we should not try to run away from them. Of course, I shall have another video talking about the issue of tribalism, because I cannot deal with that kind of issue in a 5 minutes or so video. It's deeper. I've also come to realize that people don't actually know what tribalism means. They think that speaking your mother tongue or maybe identifying yourself by your tribal name is tribalism. Nothing can be further from the truth. These are simply historical coincidences, and like I've said in this video, they should be embraced, and no one should try to run away from them and mask his true or her true identity by using the English or the religious name. I now expect more and more teachers to go back to those good old days when teachers used to identify themselves by their African names. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. These names should be embraced. Thank you so much. I'm out.